Hello बच्चों, good morning and welcome back to chemistry class. And in this lecture we learn the chemical properties of oxygen family part second. So here is the oxygen family part second. In this we learn the chemical properties of oxygen family. So chemical properties of oxygen family. First of all, we learn the action with hydrogen. Action with hydrogen. So remember, these elements when react with hydrogen, they are going to be formed hydrides of H2E type of hydrides. This is the hydride of oxygen family. These E may be all elements of oxygen family. So their different hydrides are like this. First, if hydrogen react with the oxygen, it will form H2O. After H2S, after H2Se, H2Ge, and H2PO. Like that hydrides, they are used to form. This is called as hydrogen oxide, that is simply water. This is hydrogen sulfide, this is the hydrogen cyanide, this is the hydrogen telluride, and this is the hydrogen polonite. So such type of the different hydrides of oxygen families are here. The most important to know that these hydrides are the first hydride of the oxygen family, that is with oxygen, it is found in liquid state, and remaining all are they are found in a gaseous state. This is the huge difference in between the properties of oxygen family. So the reason for this different physical states only, that is hydrogen bonding, because of the hydrogen bonding that present in water molecule, there is a very strong association of H2O molecule. That's why it is found in liquid state. But in remaining hydrides of this oxygen family, there is no H bonding. That's why they are going to be formed in the gaseous state. So if we learn about its structure and shape of the hydrides, these H2E, this E may be oxygen, sulfur, cyanide, telluride, or polonite. The structure is like this. Here E is the central atom, and two hydrogens are at like these positions. And on this E atom, there is a two lone pair. So if you want to visualize the structure, you can visualize the structure of water molecule. That is the first member of hydrides of oxygen family. It's oxygen, here is hydrogen, there is one lone pair this is two lone pair on the oxygen molecule. So such type of the structure they are used to form. If we see about its geometry of this hybridization of this E, having a two lone pair and two single bond, so this is nothing but sp3 hybridized. So here is sp3 hybridized, the central atom is there. After this, having this hybridization, it having a shape, that is angular shape. It having a angular shape, which is also called as V-shaped. Or it is also called as bent shape. Okay. So this is the general structure and hybridization of all the central atom of the hydrides of oxygen family. Here we will know the first thing that we have known, that is the physical states of these hydrides. Mainly hydrogen oxide is the liquid state, and remaining are the gaseous state because of having answer that in water molecule there is a hydrogen bonding is present, so there is a strong association of the in between the water molecule expressed. There is no such type of the H bonding found in the low hydrides of oxygen family. That's why they are found in the gaseous state. So we'll learn about the its more characteristics of the hydrides. Here we learn the different characteristics of the hydride. First is bond angle, and we should know that the this if we study this hydride, in these hydrides there is a central atom having a different electronegativity and same terminal atoms. In that case actually bond angle is directly proportional to the electronegativity of central atom. And as the electronegativity of the central atom increases, with this bond angle also increases. So here you know that actually here is a water molecule H2O, here is a H2S, H2AC, H2 H2AC, yes, HT, this is the H2T. So we know that actually the bond angle here when we move like this, actually the electronegativity of central atom actually decreases. So it is a order to be remembered that their bond angle must be decreases. Bond angle must be decreases. So on the order of the bond angle, it should be decreases like this. So as we know that actually the water molecule having a bond angle about 104 degree. After this is having a 94 degree. This is having a let me correct it. Actually, the H2S having a hydrogen sulfide having a bond angle of 92 degree. This is having a 91 degree, and this H2 having a 90 degree bond angle. So this is the actual value. We do not need to remember the bond angle of all these elements. Yes, we should have to only know that the order of their correct bond angle. Correct bond angle. So bond angle will be decreases. So the in water molecule there is a highest bond angle, and in hydrogen telluride it is a lowest bond angle. It is going to be formed. And as you know that the last one is the polonium, which is a metal. Then hydrogen will be treated as the non-metal. So it's a quite ionic type of the hydride will be out there. So remaining are the purely covalent hydrides. After this bond angle, here we learn about their thermal stability. Here thermal stability, and actually we should know that the thermal stability of the hydride is directly proportional. It is directly proportional to the, actually we can say that bond enthalpy. As the bond enthalpy decreases, similarly the thermal stability increases. It is an inversely type of relation. Thermal stability is inversely proportional to the bond enthalpy, and as the bond enthalpy decreases, the thermal stability increases. So and before we should know that actually the bond strength or bond enthalpy is again inversely proportional to the bond length, bond length. As the bond length increases, the bond enthalpy decreases. So the correct order of the bond length in between these hydrides is the H2O, after H2S, H2AC, H2T, Te and here H2PO, then obviously the size of central atom increases, so bond length must be increases. Bond length must be increases, and because hydrogen having a similar size, but the oxygen is smaller than sulfur, sulfur is smaller than selenium, so that we can guess if the size of atom increases, their bond length also increases. So this is the order of the bond length. If bond length is like that, we can have another order that where bond enthalpy. Let me tell you, my dear students, enthalpy, bond enthalpy suggests that the strength of the bond. If bond is if we can say the bond strength is more, it means that its bond enthalpy is more, that is more amount of energy is required to break it. So as you hear that bond enthalpy is inversely proportional to the bond length, then the above order will get reversed, and here we have the bond enthalpy between oxygen water is more, and here is a H2S, here is H2, Se, H2, Pe, and H2PO. So here get the order of bond length and bond enthalpy. So we want the order of bond stability, and bond stability is inversely proportional to the bond enthalpy. Let me correct my dear students. Actually, the bond stability, that is the thermal stability, is directly proportional to the bond enthalpy. As bond enthalpy increases, there thermal stability also must be increased. क्योंकि बॉन्ड जितना मजबूत होता जाएगा उतना उसको ब्रेक करने के लिए ज़्यादा थर्मल मतलब ज़्यादा हीट लगेगी। तो हम सोच सकते हैं कि जैसे जैसे उसकी बॉन्ड लेंथ जैसे जैसे बॉन्ड की एंथैल्पी यानी कि बॉन्ड की स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ती जाएगी, वैसे वैसे बॉन्ड भी क्या होता जाएगा, स्ट्रांग होता जाएगा। सिंपल लॉजिक है। लेट मी रिपीट इट अगेन। जैसे बॉन्ड मजबूत होता जाएगा यानी कि जैसे बॉन्ड की स्टेबिलिटी एंथैल्पी इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, वैसे उस मॉलिक्यूल की थर्मल स्टेबिलिटी क्या हो जाती है, बढ़ती जाती है। तो यहाँ पे बॉन्ड एंथैल्पी क्या हो रहा है बच्चों, डिक्रीज हो रही है। तो मतलब ये अगर डिक्रीज हो रही है तो ये चीज डिक्रीज होना चाहिए। तो हियर वी हैव द ऑर्डर फॉर थर्मल स्टेबिलिटी। यहाँ पे थर्मल स्टेबिलिटी की बात करें तो इस थर्मल स्टेबिलिटी डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द बॉन्ड एंथैल्पी। बॉन्ड एंथैल्पी डिक्रीजेस, सिमिलरली द thermal stability must be decreases in this order: H2, Te, H2, PO, in like this. So here we have seen almost 1, 2, 3 and 4 characteristics of hydrides of the oxygen family. We'll know another one. Here I will write down the fifth one is that here we will write down about the acidic character. And the acidic character means it is a tendency to behave as an acid, and we know that the acid have the very basic tendency to lose hydrogen as a H+. एसिडिक कैरेक्टर का होना मतलब उसकी H+ देने की टेंडेंसी होना, और जो मॉलिक्यूल जितने आसानी से H+ देगा हम उसको जो मॉलिक्यूल जितने आसानी से H+ देगा हम बोलते हैं उसका एसिडिक कैरेक्टर उतना ज़्यादा है। और उसके अपोजिट ऐसे मॉलिक्यूल जिसके हाइड्रोजन देने की टेंडेंसी कम होती है उसका एसिडिक कैरेक्टर कम होता है। नाउ यू कैन गेस एक्चुअली एसिडिक कैरेक्टर किन चीज़ों के ऊपर डिपेंड होगा। सो एज यू नो दैट द हाइड्राइड्स इज लाइक दिस, हियर इज द सेंट्रल एटम having 2 lone pair and hydrogens are connected with this E planet. Now my dear students, what will happen? Now this molecule is nothing but hydride of oxygen family, and maybe oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. But when it has to behave like a acidic character, then actually element and hydrogen which mutual bond है it must be break, and if it is going to be break, then here will be H minus, sorry, He minus plus, here we get 1H plus. Here we get 1H plus. And again, here in this complex anion, we have another H. We can also break this bond, and here we get the E minus plus another H plus. So it can give 2H plus here and here H plus, and here will be E 2 minus will be formed. That is, their oxide ion may be formed. Oxygen will form oxide ion, that is O2 minus. Sulfur will form sulfide ion, that is S2 minus, and with the liberation of 2H plus. So these hydrides having a tendency to lose 2H plus, that is, they are actually dibasic acid. You can say them. They are dibasic acid. यानी कि उनकी जो बेसिसिटी है वो 2 है, क्योंकि they can lose 2H plus. Single molecule can lose 2H plus. So they are the dibasic. और उनकी बेसिसिटी 2 है, या उनको बोल सकेंगे dibasic acid. So as they are giving H plus, they have the different molecules having a different tendency to lose the H plus. Okay, my dear students. For example, we can say it is acidic character, and we can say the tendency to give H plus, it is completely depend on the bond length. बॉन्ड लेंथ के ऊपर डिपेंड होगी बच्चों. यहाँ पे E एलिमेंट और हाइड्रोजन के बीच में जो बॉन्ड है वो कितना आसानी से ब्रेक होगा और हमें H+ देगा, उसके ऊपर क्या डिपेंड होता है, उसकी एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ डिपेंड होती है. और जितना बॉन्ड लॉन्गर होगा उतना बॉन्ड वीकर होता है. दैट इज द बेसिक थिंग वी हैव लर्न इन द केमिकल बॉन्डिंग पार्ट. लॉन्गर द बॉन्ड, वीकर द बॉन्ड. और जितना बॉन्ड वीकर होगा उतना आसानी से टूटेगा, और जितना आसानी से टूटेगा उतना आपको आसानी से H+ मिलेंगे, यानी कि उतना उसका एसिडिक कैरेक्टर क्या होगा, ज़्यादा होगा. सो विद दिस क्वाइट गुड लॉजिक वी कैन से द एसिडिक कैरेक्टर इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल ऑन बॉन्ड लेंथ. बॉन्ड लेंथ जितनी ज़्यादा होगी बच्चों उतना बॉन्ड वीक होगा, जितना बॉन्ड वीक होगा उतना वह आसानी से H+ डोनेट करेगा, यानी कि उतना उसका एसिडिक कैरेक्टर भी ज़्यादा होगा. So acidic character is directly proportional to the bond length, and here we have bond length. You know that bond length is depend on the atomic size of central atom. Central atom की साइज के ऊपर bond length डिपेंड है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि टर्मिनल एटम हाइड्रोजन है जो सभी जगह कॉमन है. एंड जैसे जैसे सेंट्रल एटम बढ़ता जाएगा वैसे वैसे बॉन्ड लेंथ क्या हो जाएगी, बढ़ती जाएगी. जैसे बॉन्ड लेंथ बढ़ेगी वैसे एसिडिक कैरेक्टर बढ़ जाएगा. तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास एसिडिक स्ट्रेन का जो ऑर्डर निकल के आता है ये यही है. दैट इज H2 here, H2S here, H2Se here, H2T here, and here H2PO. So bond length as increases, then acidic character must be increases. So in this way we had the discussion about the hydrides of oxygen family. This is the point. The explanation about the bond angle. After that, we have discussion about the bond length, bond enthalpy, their thermal stability. It is the most important regarding your examination, NEET or JEE level examination, thermal stability and their acidic character. So in this way, this is the action of hydrogen with the elements of group 16. That is oxygen family. Now we'll see how the remaining elements of the oxygen family react with oxygen itself. It is a very interesting thing to be known. Okay, let's see the action of oxygen. So now here we learn the action of O2, that is oxygen. Now here actually when these elements react with oxygen, actually two type of the oxide is going to be formed, which is EO2 and EO3. That is one dioxide and second trioxide is used to form. So generally if we see the example of EO2, that is dioxide, it may be actually like that. Here you can imagine, here is our oxygen going to react with O2, it is going to form it is going actually here we can say one oxygen is going to be oxygen is going to be reacted to O2, it is going to be formed. Oxygen is going to be reacted form, that is O3, which is nothing but dioxide of oxygen. O3, ozone, is the dioxide of oxygen element. Similarly, SO2, SeO2, TeO2, tellurium oxide, and polonium dioxide is going to be formed. Here the sulfur is going to be reacted with oxygen to give such type of the oxides. These are the dioxides of this oxygen family. And with this, in this dioxide EO3, we can have the example of obviously there is no dioxide of the oxygen is found, but here SO3 is first compound, remaining is the SeO3, here TeO3, but remember my dear friends, PO3, this does not exist. This does not exist. Now why polonium trioxide does not exist? Try to remember this. Here, if polonium trioxide is formed, it having a +6 oxidation state, which is the unstable oxidation state for polonium. Which is the stable oxidation state for the polonium? It is obviously +4. So in +6 polonium actually form the very unstable compound. That's why polonium trioxide is not going to be formed. So only trioxide, only sulfur trioxide, selenium trioxide, and tellurium trioxide will be formed in this case. So such type of the dioxide and trioxide of oxygen family, we have their compounds. So things to be remembered that here ozone, that is the dioxide of oxygen, and this sulfur dioxide, only these two oxides are found in the gaseous state. Remaining dioxides, they are found in solid state. This is the difference in between their oxidation state. Now here we learn the structural difference between dioxide and trioxide. When here we have the dioxide, actually the dioxide having a structure like that. Here is the central element, and we know that as oxygen is doubly bonded, each oxygen forms a double bond with this element. Now, as oxygen family element have 6 valence electrons, here 1, 2, 3, 4 valence electrons are engaged with the formation of covalent bond with oxygen, and here one lone pair is remained. So, if we see the structure, if we see its hybridization of this element, it is obviously here is the one sigma bond, here is the one sigma bond, here is the lone pair. So 2 sigma 1 lone pair is nothing but it is having a sp2 hybridization. So this is nothing but sp2 hybridized with this shape is nothing but angular shape. This shape is nothing but angular shape. Or we can also consider this is the V-shaped dioxide. So these dioxides can have such a angular shape. Okay, my dear students. And if we see there trioxide, then at the center there is a element which may be sulfur, selenium, or tellurium. Here 3 oxygen form double bond with 3 oxygen, and now it having a no lone pair is present. Here you can easily count the bond pair and lone pair by looking at the picture. So here this element it did form a double bond with 3 oxygen. Now here is a 1 sigma bond, here is a 2 sigma bond, here is a 3 sigma bond. So its hybridization comes to as sp2 hybridized. It is again sp2 hybridized and its shape is as expected. It is the planar. It is a planar molecule. So the trioxides are the planar, and this E2 are, as we said, it is having a bent shape. It is having a bent shape, and this is nothing but planar structure. We'll see the characteristics of these oxides, but I hope you will please remember the here there different physical states. We'll see their characteristics. The first is their oxidizing and reducing character. Now we have the actually the most stable the oxide are obviously dioxide. Here we have the O3, SO2, SeO2, TeO2, and here POO2. These are oxides of dioxides of the oxygen family. And remember this, down the group, top to bottom in this series, actually their reducing property decreases. Their reducing property decreases. As inverse of that, we can say their oxidizing property increases. So we can say that these ozone and this sulfur dioxide are the act as a reducing agent, and this tellurium oxide can be act as an oxidizing agent. My dear students, after this we know about their nature, about the nature of oxide, and both dioxide and trioxide, these are acidic in nature. Because they have a higher oxidation state, and the element in its compound state which shows their higher oxidation state, they have a natural tendency to gain the electrons and behave as a Lewis acid. So in this way they have the acidic characters. All these oxides are, including dioxide and trioxide, they are acidic in nature. That is, they are having a tendency to gain electrons because of high oxidation state. Because of high oxidation state, they have a tendency to gain electrons and behave as a Lewis acid. But when we compare the acidic strength in between dioxide and trioxide, then actually the trioxides are more acidic. Remember these words, these trioxides are more acidic. And here EO2, they are less acidic. Why trioxides are more acidic? Because when we see its oxidation state comes as +6, and the EO2 having a less acidic character because they are having a +4 oxidation state. And remember, my dear students, actually oxidation state, this acidic strength is directly proportional to the oxidation number. More the oxidation number, more is the acidic strength. That's why this trioxide shows more acidic character than dioxide, and this is all about the oxides of oxygen family. Now we will see the action of halogen. Action of halogen with oxygen family. And remember, my dear students, when the E may be all the elements of the oxygen family, when used to react n number of halogen, they used to form different halide, that is the EX2, which is dihalide. Here another is EX4, that is the tetrahalide, and the third is EX6, that is hexafluorides. So I am sorry, hexahalides like that. So these many numbers of the halides used to form when the halogens they are reacted with the elements. Their elements may be oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, or polonium. It may be anyone. And obviously here the X2 means F2, Cl2, Br2, and I2. So let's study about their structural features. Here I will make 3 columns, and here I am doing about the dihalides, that is EX2. Now this EX2 actually having a structure like this. E is at the center, and at the central position, one halogen is at this terminal, another halogen is this terminal, and it having actually these two lone pair. So it having a hybridization sp3, because two lone pair proceed sp3 hybridization, and having a bent shape, or we can say it having a V-shaped structure. After that, when we see about the tetrahalides, then actually here the E at the central position, all 4 halogens are surrounded tetrahedrally at all corners, and its remaining, now it already consumed only 4 electrons, so remaining 2 electrons they are at the axial position. So this is the structure called the tetrahalides of the oxygen family. If we see it's a hybridization of the central atom, then 1 2 3 4 4 second bond, and 2 lone pair, then it having a sp3d structure, sp3d hybridization. After that, when we see about the EX6, then it having a at the center terminal there is a element, and all 6 positions which are occupied by the halogen having a, obviously this having a this shape having a trigonal bipyramidal. And if we see this structure, then we'll get idea it having a sp3d2 hybridization of the central atom, and its shape is obviously octahedral. So these things about the structural features of the halides. Here we know that the stability order for the halides, and obviously the F minus is more stable halide than Cl minus, after Br minus, and after iodine minus. So we can judge. So the out of difluoride and tetrafluoride and we can say hexafluoride, these are the most stable halides. These are the most stable halides of the oxygen family. But with this, one thing to be remembered, my dear students, that is SF6 is the SF6 is the only stable halide due to steric reason. Due to the steric reason sulfur hexachloride is also stable. That you have to remember. So in this way we have completed the chemical properties of the oxygen family. Thank you so much.